As you could tell from the title of this video, we're going to look at 5 people who have died in strange and unexpected ways, and we're here to raise an eyebrow as we take a look at their final moments. Number 1. Who knew carrots could kill? Basil Brown, an English scientist and health food advocate, learned one important lesson the hard way. You can have too much of a good thing. In 1974, he was convinced of the health benefits of carrots. After all, they are an excellent source of vitamin A and contain antioxidants and minerals. These days, carrots are still touted as a great food choice, but Brown may have taken it too far. He drank around a gallon of carrot juice every day. Even though Brown was a 48-year-old man in good physical condition, this killed him in 10 days due to the gigantic intake of vitamin A that destroyed his liver. At his autopsy, he was diagnosed with carrot anemia, yellow skin, and the pathologist recorded his cause of death as cirrhosis of the liver, calling the damage indistinguishable from alcohol poisoning. Number 2. Most ironic death. Although it is not technically possible for someone to die of irony, Jerome Moody might be the strongest example. He died by drowning while attending a party for lifeguards. In 1985, the New Orleans Recreation Department held a party where over half of the 200 attendees were lifeguards, while there were also 4 additional lifeguards on duty. Despite this, nobody noticed when 31-year-old Jerome Moody fell into the deep end of the pool and thrashed around in a fit of panic and desperation while everyone around him danced. Moody himself was not a lifeguard but came as a guest. His body was not spotted until the end of the party when the people started heading out. But, unsurprisingly, by then it was already too late. And just to add insult to injury, the party had been held to celebrate the city's first swimming season on record without a drowning. Number 3. Be careful what you wish for. Although James Otis Jr.'s career was ending because of mental illness, he was an important figure during the beginning of the American Revolution. Otis would have most likely become one of the founding fathers if not for his mental state. However, in the early 1770s, his behaviour became more and more erratic. His condition was likely made worse by a severe beating he took in 1769 from a British tax collector, which resulted in head trauma. All of this is unrelated to his death though. James Otis Jr. died suddenly on May 23, 1783, when he was struck by lightning. It might not be unusual for someone to be killed by lightning, but Otis really wanted it. His sister and friends said that he mentioned it multiple times to them, and one day, he got his wish. He was standing in the doorway of a friend's house telling a story, and although there were other people around, he was the only one hit by lightning. Number 4. Another drink won't hurt. We begin with George Plantagenet, Duke of Clarence's peculiar execution. George was a member of the Royal House of Plantagenet and was involved in the intricate web of conspiracies and wars known as the War of the Roses. He was the brother of 2 English kings, Edward IV and Richard III. We don't have time to discuss the entire pot of fish. It is sufficient to note that George was ultimately judged guilty of treason against his brother, Edward IV, and given the death penalty. Although there is no official record of his execution because it was carried out in private and no one was present, there were immediately reports that George had drowned to death. This wasn't very significant on its own because drowning was a common means of execution at the time, but George Plantagenet is said to have been allegedly drowned in a sizable vat of Malmsey wine rather than using water. Why? Well, the narrative has 2 different conclusions. One person claimed that George himself requested this because it was his favourite wine. The other claimed it was the king's final jab at him for his heavy drinking. Number 5. One does not simply kill with a bucket. What would your weapon of choice be if you were a king-killing assassin? A blade, poison, or perhaps a fall that made it appear accidental? Not any of those? Would you want a silver bucket? Constance II, who ruled the Byzantine Empire from 641 to 668 AD, was in fact killed with that very instrument of death. According to scholar Theophilus of Edessa from the 8th century, the following is how the assassination took place. While Constance was taking a bath, one of his attendants grabbed a bucket, added soap and mallow to it, and placed this on Constance's head. Constance's eyes were so full with soap and mallow that he was unable to open them when the attendant took the bucket and hit him on the head, killing him. He quickly exited the water to flee, and no one saw him again. The servants waited outside for the king to emerge, but after waiting for a while and realizing that it was getting late, and he had still not come out, they went inside and discovered him unconscious. They carried him out, and he survived for that day until passing away after 27 years in power. That's all from me for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed these top 5s. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Maybe ring that notification bell. It would help me out. It would let you know when I upload. Do it.
Do it. I'm watching. Do it.